Hi everyone, it's me, Ann Barba, on Simply Ann. That's paperwishes.com/simplyann. And I am making an Easter card today, and it's got some really fun Easter eggs, decorated, very ornate Easter eggs here at the bottom. And I wanted to show you how to do that with an actual label stamp, which is actually an oval. So I'm going to show that to you and much more in this tutorial, so join me and stay tuned. Today I'll be using the white jewel border Dazzles, the label small stamp, and this little inner stamp comes out, so it is a oval shaped label. Liquid pearls, and this is in the pretty flamingo color, a pretty pink. The label swing die cut cards, and that's what they look like, and they come flat. I'll show you all about that. And Emma's Garden double-sided scrapbooking paper pack. So just a quick glimpse, if you can see the colors and the design, some project ideas here, and those are what the papers look like. Alright, with that, let's get started. So with the label swing die cut cards, this is the package insert. And on the back it has some paper patterns, so if you want you can cut them out, trace them, and glue them to your onto your pattern paper, cut the pattern paper out, and then glue them to your card. Now I recommend is so that you don't have to cut your package insert is to scan and print out or get 2 photocopies of the back of the insert, because some of the shapes are overlapping, so it makes it kind of difficult to use all of the patterns from the same piece of paper. So what I'm going to do, for example, I can cut out my left side and right side here, and then on here I can cut out my outside label and my inside label. Now these are sharing a space as well, so you may have to trace your outside label first and then trim this out and then trace your inside label. Inside label is the large one, outside label is the small one. So if that makes sense, you do those separately. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and cut out some of the pieces here. So quick update, if you don't want to end up cutting your insert, you have to do 3 photocopies. So one I cut out the right side and left side from. One I cut out just this inside label, and one I cut out the spine and the outside label, and I couldn't figure out how to do that all from 2 sheets, so you can see what I've cut out here, here, and here. And so those are all of my patterns. Now if you have these already cut out, then I would definitely save these for the rest of the die cut cards in your pack, because these come with 5 cards and 5 envelopes, so definitely be helpful if you, after you use them for tracing, to save those in with the package. So just a tip there. So I have all my shapes separate, and I'm going to use them for patterns to cover my card. I also just wanted to show you really quick, this is the die cut card, so these flaps pop out, and then there's 2 score lines. There, you can see them. So you just basically fold one as a mountain fold and the other as a valley fold, and show you what I mean. So there's a mountain and there's your valley, and you can burnish those with a bone folder if you have one, and make them really nice and sharp. You can use your fingernail like this just to reinforce those folds. And there's your label swing card, and it's called swing because it swings right open. So as you can see on the front here, you've got a smaller label, and then when it swings open it expands because you've got this spine in the middle that works as the hinge. So now I'm going to use my patterns. And one more thing to note is when you're tracing your pieces, this is the right side piece, and that's gonna fit right there. So make sure you double check which side of the paper you trace on. For example, I want this paper to be showing on my right side, So if I did it like this, this would work. But since I want to trace it on the back, I have to flip both pieces of paper over like this and trace it on the back like this. So I've gone ahead and done that, if you can see my pencil line here. So I just simply cut this out and glue it onto my card. Alright, so that's what it looks like glued onto the card, and it has a nice even, about a 1/16 of an inch border around the whole thing. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the rest of my card. Right now I'm going to create an egg using my oval label stamp. Inking it up with my Versamark watermark stamp pad here. And it's a perfect ink for embossing. It's my favorite embossing ink pad. And I'm going to swipe on my little piece of paper with this embossing pouch, also known as a printing pouch, so that my embossing powder will fall off nicely. And just stamping right in the center. There we go. And it's invisible right now, but it's there. And I'm just gonna sprinkle on, this is super fine white embossing powder, and it's awesome because it picks up all the detail of your stamp. And just tapping that off, and you've got the perfect detail here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and emboss it with my heat gun. So in order to turn this into an Easter egg, I've placed some border dazzles. These jewel border dazzles are white. And I just place pieces of them across the middle of my egg. And now I'm going to take my flamingo liquid pearls and decorate in between those. So I just like to wrap it on my desk to get the liquid pearls toward the tip. And just squeeze a bit on here. Make sure it's going smoothly. Looks pretty good. So here we go. And there we go. Now I'll let that dry. But right now I'm going to set those aside. And I have another sheet of Dazzles I'm going to use. This is not in the bundle, but you can also buy this on paperwishes.com. This is the Easter Chicks Dazzles. And I'm going to use something I don't think I've used on Simply Ann yet. This is opaque StazOn ink, and this is white ink. And if you want to change your Dazzles to white, you actually can do that. And once this ink dries, you could even color them another color on top of that. So it gives you a lot more options. So definitely, once you take it out of the package, shake the bottle. Shake it a lot so that all the ink, and I should be hearing some sort of thing inside here, which I'm not hearing, which means I need to shake it even harder. So after you've shaken it up, oh, I felt it move, okay. After you've shaken it up nice and thoroughly, open the ink pad, and I've inked this up once before, but I definitely need to do it again, especially for this technique. So the ink comes out kind of thick, almost like a thick paint. So I'm just squeezing it on my pad kind of generously, and there's no right and wrong way to do this. You could do little dots, but I'm just trying to do an even coverage. And then I'm going to take this little scraper tool, which does come with the ink, and spread it over my ink pad. And you kind of want to get an even coating. And see how it's nice and smooth there. So, and if you want to, you can add additional ink. Once this is inked up, got my Dazzles over some scrap paper here. Now, if you don't want to ink all of your Dazzles on this sheet, you can cut out the specific Dazzles you want and then ink those. But for my purposes, I'm just going to ink up all of the Dazzles so I can pick and choose which one I want to use after. So I'm just going to go ahead and pat the ink pad over my Dazzles. Until I kind of get an even coat of white. Looks good. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. So my sheet of Easter Chicks Dazzles has been inked white, and I peeled off this cute little chick right here, and I backed him with some papers. Now basically how you do that, I'll just show you really quick, because I went ahead and finished the card, but I'll just tell you how I did this. You place it over the paper you want, and then, for example, if you want to fill the cheeks with pink, I trace the cheeks carefully in a circle. Now, this is with the sticky side up, so keep that in mind. It's very important. So then I cut out the little circles just outside that pencil line that I drew. And then if I place that on the sticky side, and this won't be perfect, but there we go, you get the idea. And you can always trim once you turn it over, try and trim off that excess part. And so you do the other cheek and the beak and whatever parts you want filled, and then the rest of it you can place on the pattern paper of your choice, just like that. Then you trim around the Dazzle, and what I've done here is I've matted this little bird on brown cardstock. So I've done the same thing, and you'll see this is my ornate egg with the flamingo liquid pearls decorating it here. All three of these eggs have been matted on brown cardstock as well, and then these two are just the jewel border Dazzles, the white jewel border Dazzles. And I've got this ribbon up here. Now these have just been cut at the edge and attached with zips, and I have a zot attaching this cute little bow. One thing to note is for the ends of this it's a kind of a metallic shiny twill ribbon, and it's made of polyester, so it does fray quite a bit if you mess with it a lot. So what I've done is before I cut the ends, I smudge a bit of liquid glue, tacky glue on there, let it dry a bit, and then just cut the ends, and since there's glue on the back, it'll stick together and won't fray. So that's what I've done for the little bow around the chick's neck here. And then we have the pink grosgrain for this knotted bow, and then this is a pink with a white dot, and it's actually more of an ivory dot, which goes perfectly with the ivory of the paper. So here's the front of the card, and the chick has been foam taped. These three eggs have been glued down with glue stick. Now this one is a little more dimensional because of the liquid pearls, and this one is actually on the inner panel, so when I open the card it stays there, and voila, I have an excellent Easter. Now this piece here is from the patterns of the label swing card, and that's from the pink dot and the Emma's Garden paper. And then we have the egg shape, which I actually just stamped and cut out this stamp, which is an oval shape, and I used the opposite side that wasn't actually stamped to frame my greeting here. And then I matted it actually on pattern paper for a fun, kind of a reverse look. Usually you have the pattern paper and then you mat it on solid cardstock. But I did the opposite here because Excellent Easter is all in white and I wanted it to stand out nicely. So this is my completed card. It's a Happy Easter card since Easter's coming up in a few weeks here. So if you do this, it says, "Have an excellent Easter," and I like how it goes with the eggs. And these two Dazzles work really nicely together since I've inked these white. By the way, you can buy this separately at paperwishes.com. And then these are the jewel border Dazzles in white, so those all go nicely. And you can even dress this up even more with more border Dazzles if you wanted, but I'm just going to leave it as is. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and please stay tuned for today's bundle, and see you again next week. Thanks for watching. In today's bundle we have the liquid pearls in this really pretty flamingo color. Then we have the white jewel border Dazzles, and this comes with 31 borders, and the white jewel material has a silver lining to it. As you can see, the little outlines on here are silver. There's the back of that. And then we have the label small stamp. Now this actually comes with 6 stamps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this inner one is removable, so you can use, of course, the label by itself. Then we also have the label swing die cut cards and envelopes. And this comes with 5 cards and 5 envelopes. Tells you all the instructions on the package insert here. Here are the patterns for your card to cover your card with pattern paper. And the die cut cards come like this, flat, with score lines. There you can see them. And the shape here is die cut. And then you just fold on the score lines to make your label swing die cut card. That's what the envelope looks like. And there's 5 of those to match the cards. And then we also have the Emma's Garden paper pack. One of my favorite new paper packs. We have 12 pieces of 12 by 12 paper and some scrapbooking and card making ideas on the back and on the front here. And so each of these papers, let's go through them really quick. We have the corner embellished, kind of an ivory, really pretty doily pattern. There's the back of that. This was a tiny floral print on green. It's very pretty. And a pink dot. We've got a colorful tile pattern. More solid brown texture. And this is really cute. Pink and green flowers and ivory on a dark brown, chocolatey brown background. And there's that kind of teal on the back. Pink and white floral and ivory dot. And finally we have the brown, kind of a tile pattern. And on the back, an ivory floral. So those are all the designs in Emma's Garden, and that's today's bundle. Thank you so much for watching, and join me again next week.